Tomorrow is Epiphany. Technically, it's called Epiphany. Epiphany means letting it be known, revealing what was hidden, coming to a new awareness. Epiphany. It would be what day of Christmas? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many days of Christmas are there in the song? 12. It will be the 12th day of Christmas. With, right next to Amanda, Epiphany. Why bother with this day? Shut them up. What? Why is it important? Because on this day we remember the visit of the wise men. Do not say when I'm around 3 kings from the Orient. Okay? Why don't we want to say that when Pastor G is around? Because he'll go ballistic. Why will he go ballistic?
We should sing that.
Thank you very much, former confirmation student par excellence. Yes, she said it exactly right. We just don't know how many wise men are.
I think we should call it the Day of the Unnumbered Wise Men.
The Day of the Unnumbered Wise Men from New York. Yeah. From the Bronx. In Matthew chapter 2, we get to read about what happened when the wise men came. With me? Listen carefully to the story because I'm going to ask you a question about it later. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem, this was during Herod's kingship. A band of, now this guy calls them in this translation, scholars. Doesn't call them kings. Doesn't even call them magi. Which is the right word? Magi. They arrived in Jerusalem from the east. Doesn't say how far east, but it wasn't the Orient as we understand it to be these days. Probably Persia. And they asked around, hey, where can we find and pay homage to the newborn King of the Jews? We observed a star in the eastern sky that signals his birth. We're on pilgrimage to worship him. Wow. I'd like to know these guys. They're stargazers. They paid attention to what was going on. They didn't have all the bright lights that we have around, so they could really see the stars. Have you ever been where it's really, really dark?
Come to our house.
Okay. Now here it gets dangerous. When word of their inquiry got to Herod, Herod was the king. He was terrified. Not Herod alone, but most of Jerusalem as well. Herod lost no time. He gathered all the high priests and religious scholars and sit together and asked, where is the Messiah supposed to be born? They told him, after they did their research in the Bible, why? It says in the book of Micah that the Messiah is to be born in Bethlehem. Herod then arranged a secret meeting with the scholars. I'm down verse 7. Pretending to be as devout as they were, he got them to tell them exactly when the birth announcement star appeared. Then he told them the prophecy about Bethlehem and said, go, find this child, leave no stone unturned. As soon as you find him, send word, and I'll join you at once in your worship. Was Herod telling the truth? No. Herod was a loon. He was crazy. He was wanting nothing but malicious intent for this child. He wanted to kill him. How do we know this? Historical records have shown that this king, initially, when he was young, was a good king and did marvelous things for the country. But as he grew older, he grew paranoid. You know what paranoid means? It means everybody's out to get you. And they were. Even his own children, they wanted to be kings. So you know what he did to his own sons? He killed them. He wanted to kill his wife too, but he was unsuccessful in that 2 times. He even tried to kill himself once. He was was unsuccessful in that. But he wanted to make sure that when he died, all the people in the area would be sad. So you know what he did? He said to his soldiers, when I die, or I'm close to death, you gather all the leaders from the city, and you put them in this one place. And when I die, you kill all of them, so that there will be weeping in the city. If not for me, there'll at least be weeping. That's the kind of crazy person he was. And this is the kind of person that the wise men, the stargazers, the scholars went to ask, where's the new king? He's going to say, new king? What's this mean, a new king? I'm the king. Herod was nuts. Anyhow, where are we?
He wasn't that wise then.
He wasn't a wise man, no. A magi. Instructed by the king, verse 9, they set off. The star appeared again. Same star they had seen in eastern skies. It led on until it hovered over the place of the child. They could hardly contain themselves. I love that. And you're going to grow to appreciate that phrase as well when I give you your assignment in a minute or two. They could hardly contain. When have you hardly been able to contain yourself? You? No, I mean, when there's something absolutely phenomenal about to happen in your life, what would that be? Like when you're going to receive First Communion this Sunday.
That would be me.
That would be you. When's another time when you can hardly contain yourself? I know some children who can hardly contain themselves before Christmas arrives. Especially if they think they're getting something that they want. Your birthday, Christmas, what else?
I was just super excited to have Mariah newborn.
Well, having a baby. Oh my goodness.
And to hear her cry.
It doesn't get better than that. Yeah, you know, to this day. Got us second children, nobody cares. That's just another child.
I've done more like 4 or 5.
In a stable cave. Well, we don't know when the wise men came. Could be anywhere up until about 2 years after Jesus was born that they came to visit. We just don't know. So they came to the house. Saw the child in the arms of Mary's mother. Overcome! Remember, they've been traveling for a long time to get to Bethlehem. Now they've arrived. Now they're finally able to see this wonderful thing, this child. They kneeled and worshipped him. Then they opened their luggage and presented gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Very special. Can you imagine how that must have been for Mary and Joseph to see these wise men there? Visiting and worshiping his child. These guys weren't local critters, you know. These were guys from far away. These were foreigners. They weren't Jewish. They were Gentiles. They weren't even religious people as they were. They weren't of the same religion. They weren't Lutherans. You know? I don't know. I would have been if I were them, but Mary and Joseph, they were different. And then what happens? This gets interesting. After they worshipped and gave him their gifts, in a dream they were warned not to report back to Herod. So they worked out another route, left the territory without being seen, and returned to their own country. What else do we hear about the Magi? That was it. That was it. However, that's not going to be it among us today. You, each table, so you're going to want to sit with people who are very creative. Each table, are you eating? Each table is going to get to write a story about what happened to the wise men after they left the house where the child was.
After I left Bethlehem, as they traveled, they discussed their journey and the wonder of the star that led them to meeting the newborn king. They spread the word of meeting the new king. They traveled to Persia and shared the news with as many people as they felt comfortable, and shared the angel's news of Herod not wanting to keep the new king safe.
Not long. But so once they left Bethlehem, they decided to go back to Persia. But when they reached Persia, the people that they told about great news, good joy, that they said they were crazy because they couldn't believe that this tiny little baby was somehow magically gonna be this Messiah for all people. So they were put into jail, and the people, the Magi, were trying to ask the king to let them go. And the king said that if they brought him to the baby, that he would let him go, that they would be let go. And that's it.
So you were going to write a small novel. I have a So Epiphany gets the word out to people who aren't Jewish, to people who don't know what they believe, or maybe are firm in their belief, but now have something new to believe, that the Messiah is born.